I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going back my mama. I'm not going. So tell your ass mama dig her ass and
put life situations to create something that's entertaining without being specific. That's entertainment to me. Like if I had an issue.
50 Cent dropped just one post about Tiny Harris, and the internet went completely wild overnight. But the real shock came seconds later when he threw a heavy question into the mix about King Harris and who his real father might be. Nobody in the rap world expected that twist. Comment sections exploded, fans started arguing everywhere, and the whole situation turned into pure chaos online. And once you start hearing the rumors people have been whispering about behind the scenes of that marriage for years, the story starts looking way deeper than just another rap beef. Suddenly this wasn't just music talk anymore. People started digging into old interviews, old posts, and old tension that had been sitting in the background for a long time.
When have you known me to be indirect with an issue?
Oh, you're pretty direct.
Right, so if I had a problem with any artist, trust me, they would know.
This whole situation feels way bigger than a normal back and forth between artists. The tension, the history, and that wild bomb 50 just dropped all connect to something that has been quietly building for years. What looked like a simple online jab suddenly opened the door to a much bigger conversation.
That line about T.I.
Absolutely, for the public
to really understand why this moment blew up the way it did, you gotta rewind the clock. This drama didn't just appear out of nowhere in February 2026. The truth is, the tension has been cooking for nearly 2 decades, waiting for the right spark to set everything off. And that spark came from one man, Curtis James Jackson II, the guy the world knows as 50 Cent. At some point, he clearly decided he wasn't playing nice anymore and aimed straight for the jugular. The friction between 50 Cent and T.I. actually goes all the way back to the mid-2000s when both artists were sitting at the very top of the rap world. Back then, 50 was running G-Unit like a full empire, records selling everywhere, business deals stacking up, and control over his lane in a way very few artists had ever pulled off, right? At the same time all of this was happening, T.I., Clifford Joseph Harris Jr. out of Atlanta, was loudly claiming his crown as the king of the South. And honestly, with the music he was dropping back then, a lot of people felt like he had a strong case. The hits were everywhere, the streets respected him, and the South was riding with him heavy. These were 2 gigantic names in hip-hop. When stars that big share the same spotlight, tension is almost guaranteed to show up sooner or later. Back then, the friction stayed mostly under the surface though. You'd hear slick little comments in interviews, feel the competitive energy, and catch subtle shots that fans picked up on, but it never turned into a full-blown war. But around 2007 and 2008, things started getting way more serious. That's when 50 Cent began pointing directly at T.Y.'s legal situation and raising a question that can follow an artist around forever in hip-hop. He openly wondered whether the so-called King of the South had been cooperating with federal authorities. That kind of accusation alone can shake the whole industry. Here's what actually happened back in October 2007. Ty was arrested in Atlanta during an operation connected to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, often called the ATF. Investigators said he tried to purchase 3 machine guns and 2 silencers through a bodyguard who was secretly working with law enforcement. Those were extremely serious federal charges, the kind that can flip someone's entire life upside down overnight.
50, that's what I said. He don't want no smoke though. Oh, no. I called my man out. He don't want no smoke. He ducking smoke.
Each count alone carried the possibility of up to 10 years in prison, plus a $250,000 fine. So when the sentence finally came down in March 2009 and T.I. received 1 year and 1 day, a lot of people in the rap world started raising eyebrows. Fans, bloggers, and artists began doing their own math, and to them the numbers just didn't seem to line up. And if there's one thing everybody knows about 50 Cent, it's that he never stays quiet when something like that catches his attention. One thing everybody knows about 50 Cent is that he has never been the type to stay quiet. When rumors start buzzing in the streets, he usually steps right into the middle of it. And that's exactly what happened in 2008 when 50 dropped the G-Unit album T.O. Terminate on Sight, and one track instantly grabbed everybody's attention. The song You So Tough had a line that sent shockwaves through the entire hip-hop world. On the record he rapped, "I got the best lawyers money can buy. They said it would have got me 10 or maybe 9. I said, well, how do you explain how homie breathes? So keep your mouth shut or you eat the cheese. Those bars had fans everywhere trying to figure out exactly who he was talking about. Once that verse hit the streets, people started connecting the dots immediately. When interviewers asked 50 Cent if the line was aimed at T.I., he tried to keep things smooth at first. He dodged the question, played it casual, and acted like it could mean anything. But only a few moments later, the message started sounding a lot clearer, and fans felt like he basically confirmed what many people were already thinking. Now on the other side, T has always stood firm on his version of the story. He has repeatedly said he never cooperated with authorities and that the entire situation was personal to him. According to T.I., everything he did during that time was connected to seeking justice for his close friend, Phelan Johnson, who was tragically killed in Cincinnati back in 2006. That loss deeply affected him and shaped many of the choices he made afterward. As part of his legal agreement, T.I. completed over 1,000 hours of community service. He also traveled across 25 different states on speaking to thousands of young people and encouraging them to make smarter decisions and avoid the mistakes that can change a life forever.
We were moving around in LA, man, selling some TV shows and shit while we were around each other, man. I said, what you think about this? Like, shit, I said.
But in hip-hop culture, once the word snitch starts floating around, it spreads 10 times faster than any explanation ever could. Rumors move quick, and once people start repeating them, they take on a life of their own. After all that noise though, the tension between 50 Cent and T.I. eventually cooled off for a while, and the drama faded into the background. The issue briefly popped back up in 2020 when T.I. made comments about the death of rapper King Von in Atlanta that 50 Cent felt were disrespectful toward a grieving community. That moment caused some tension online, but even then the situation never fully exploded. The real eruption didn't happen until 2026, and surprisingly it all started from what was supposed to be a friendly conversation. Everything kicked off during talk about a possible Verzuz battle. What started as a simple music discussion suddenly turned personal and spun completely out of control fast. In early February 2026, T appeared on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson, and that's where things started getting interesting. During the interview, T.I. told a story about a time when he and 50 Cent were both in Los Angeles working on television projects. According to T.I., the two of them actually had a serious conversation about doing a Verzuz battle to celebrate their music and their impact on hip-hop. From T.I.'s perspective, the discussion sounded legit. He explained that they talked it through and basically agreed it could be a huge moment for the culture, but the drama really kicked off the moment T.I. mentioned that conversation publicly. As soon as it hit the internet, things took a sharp turn. Suddenly, 50 Cent started acting like he had absolutely no idea what T.I. was talking about.
It was like, all right, cool, so shit. And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up. Going on. Then that's what it was about. Cause now I quit.
Later on, T.I. doubled down and explained the story again with even more detail, making it clear he truly believed that conversation about the Verzuz battle had happened. At that point, most fans expected the usual hip-hop response. Maybe a diss track, a few slick bars, or some competitive back and forth between two veterans of the game. But 50 Cent didn't go that route at all. Instead, he took things somewhere far more personal. He jumped on Instagram and posted an unflattering photo of Tamika Tiny Harris, T.I.'s wife, along with a caption telling T.I. to keep his name out of his mouth. This wasn't about music anymore. It wasn't about albums, charts, or rap skills. This time the post aimed straight at his family, and that's when the whole situation shifted in a major way. The moment a spouse gets pulled into a public feud, the energy around everything changes instantly. What started as music talk suddenly turned into something much heavier, and people online could feel that shift right away. Right in the middle of all this was King Harris, their 21-year-old son, watching the entire situation unfold online just like millions of other people. Every post, every comment, every reaction was happening in real time across social media, and the spotlight was suddenly shining directly on the family. By that point, the situation clearly wasn't about music anymore. Once family gets dragged into the conversation, the whole story moves into a completely different lane. Taking shots at this particular family also touches a long history of public pressure, rumors, and personal struggles that most people outside their circle have never fully seen, and that's exactly why 50 Cent going after Tiny Harris hit the internet so hard. It wasn't just a random name being pulled into a rap feud. The reaction exploded because it tapped into years of history surrounding the Harris family. And to really understand why the response was so strong, especially from King Harris, you have to look a little deeper at everything that's been building behind the scenes to really understand why people reacted so strongly. You have to know who Tamika Tiny Harris actually is, and what her life has quietly carried behind the scenes for years. A lot of people casually describe Tiny as simply T.I.'s wife, but that label barely scratches the surface of her story. Long before I was dominating charts and calling himself the King of the South, Tiny had already built a real name for herself in the music industry. She was born Tamika Diane Cottle on July 14, 1975 in College Park, Georgia. In the early 1990s, she rose to fame as a member of the R&B group Escape, one of the groups that helped shape the sound of that entire era. Their songs were everywhere, and their influence on R&B at the time was impossible to ignore. But Tiny wasn't just standing on stage performing. Behind the scenes, she was writing records that helped define the careers of other major artists. She co-wrote the massive TLC hit No Scrubs, a record that became one of the most recognizable songs of its time. She also contributed to songs connected to Destiny's Child, building a songwriting resume that many people in that industry would consider a lifetime achievement all by itself. Before her relationship with T.I., Tiny's personal life stayed mostly out of the spotlight. She was in a long-term relationship with a man named Zonnie Zebo Pullins, and the two were together for about 6 years, starting around 1992. During that time, they welcomed a daughter, Zonique, who was born in 1996. Years later, she would step into the music world herself, following a path similar to her mother's. That same daughter, Zonique, later became a member of the girl group OMG Girls, continuing the family's connection to the music industry and carrying that legacy into a new generation. Over the years, Tiny has also shared different stories from her past, including one she spoke about on their reality show involving a brief friendship with Tupac Shakur back in 1994. Moments like that give small glimpses into just how deeply connected she's been to the music world for decades. Tiny later explained that the connection with Tupac Shakur almost turned romantic, but it never actually crossed that line. And sadly, Tupac passed away in 1996, not long after that time. Outside of moments like that, there really hasn't been much in Tiny's past pointing to major controversy. For the most part, her journey in the industry has been about music, family, and staying deeply connected to the culture. Tiny first crossed paths with T.I. in 2001 through the music business. At the time, Escape had connections around the industry that overlapped with people tied to his label Grand Hustle Records.
Say something about my mama, your mama, go dig her up, post a picture of your mama, she pay respect, stop playing with my.
But here's the funny part, it's here, Tiny reportedly wasn't interested in him at all in the beginning. Stories say she actually turned T.I. down multiple times. She even stood him up on a few occasions before finally deciding to give him a real chance. Eventually though, persistence paid off and the two began spending more time together. By the mid-2000s, their relationship had grown much more serious. They became fully committed and eventually made it official with a quiet courthouse wedding in Miami Beach on July 30th, 2010. It wasn't some huge celebrity spectacle at first, just a simple moment between the two of them. Later on, they celebrated the marriage with bigger gatherings surrounded by friends and family in Atlanta and Las Vegas, turning the moment into a much larger celebration. Together, they welcomed 3 children, King, born in 2004, Major, born in 2008, and Eris, born in 2016. The couple also experienced a heartbreaking loss in 2007 when they went through a stillbirth, something that deeply affected the entire family. When you combine T's children from previous relationships with Tiny's daughter, they were raising a blended family of 7 kids under one roof. And from the very beginning, that marriage faced some very serious challenges. Only a few months after their wedding, T.I. was arrested again on drug charges while still on probation, which forced him to serve additional time. It was another serious moment for the couple, and through all of it, Tiny stayed right by his side, standing with him while the situation played out in the public eye. Eventually, the two decided to open their lives to the world through the VH1 reality series T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. The show ran from 2011 to 2017 and gave viewers a front row seat to their family life, showing what things look like inside their busy household. On television, fans saw plenty of positive moments. There were family trips, funny parenting scenes, celebrations, and a lot of lighthearted energy that made the show popular with viewers. But behind the scenes, their relationship was also dealing with serious pressure that most people watching at home never fully saw. One of the most talked about moments happened in 2014 when T.I. got into a heated confrontation with boxing champion Floyd Mayweather Jr. at a restaurant in Las Vegas. The situation blew up after rumors started spreading that Mayweather had been getting a little too friendly with Tiny. The confrontation was caught on video, and once the footage hit the internet, it spread everywhere almost instantly. Social media lit up and people began debating what really happened that night.
Don't enjoy it. I do not. Simply because I've spent so much time trying to get this off the leg.
Both Tiny and Floyd Mayweather later denied that anything romantic ever happened between them. Mayweather explained that he had known Tiny for years, even before she was with T.I., and said the rumors were being exaggerated far beyond the truth. Tiny also addressed the situation during a 2018 interview on County Coded Nights. She explained that she did not physically cheat on T.I., but she admitted that Mayweather had been flirting with her during a time when her marriage was already going through a rough patch. In her own words, she said, "I didn't really cheat, I didn't have any, he flirted with me." Tiny even explained the emotional side of that moment, saying, "Everybody needs a little attention, especially if she ain't getting it." That one statement gave fans a clear glimpse into how strained things had become between the couple during that time. Behind the smiles on television, their relationship was dealing with serious pressure. The biggest breaking point arrived in December 2016. On December 7th, Tiny officially filed for divorce in Henry County, Georgia, citing irreconcilable differences and requesting primary custody of their children. Court records confirmed the filing was real, and the story immediately turned into major headline news across entertainment media. At first, the process stalled because T.I. had not been properly served with the paperwork, which delayed the hearing. But Tiny didn't back down. She filed again in April 2017, making it clear she was serious about the decision at that moment. Later, when she spoke publicly about that time in her life, Tiny didn't sugarcoat what pushed her to take that step. During a 2019 interview, she explained that the decision came down to protecting her own self-respect. According to Tiny, she had been dealing with years of cheating, dishonesty, and repeated disrespect, and eventually she reached a point where she felt she had to stand up for herself and create boundaries in the relationship. But by the summer of 2017, the story took another turn. Instead of moving forward with a full separation, the couple stepped back and decided to try working things out. They chose to rebuild rather than walk away. T.I. spoke openly about how much Tiny meant to him, calling her his best friend and explaining that a bond like that wasn't something he was ready to simply throw away. The final season of their reality show actually captured just how close the marriage came to ending for good. Cameras showed the tension, the arguments, and the heavy conversations about whether their relationship could survive, but it also revealed the effort it took for them to rebuild trust and slowly find stable ground again.
Talking about King. Yes. And now he has justifiable means to undo all of the teachings that I've been teaching.
Eventually, they really did find their way back to each other. In 2025, the couple celebrated 15 years of marriage with a trip to Thailand, sharing moments from the vacation online. There were clips from a yacht, big smiles, heartfelt captions, and posts that showed the world they were still standing strong as a team. T.I. openly called Tiny the love of his life. While Tiny spoke about how much he had grown over the years, she talked about how their bond had evolved after more than 2 decades together, surviving challenges that could have easily broken many other couples. After everything they had been through, it truly looked like they had fought through the storm and made it to the other side. Then in early 2026, the two stepped out together again at the Grammy Awards, dressed sharp and looking completely united as a couple. From the outside, everything seemed solid and steady, and that's exactly when 50 Cent dropped that photo online and the entire situation suddenly exploded. Soon after, rumors started spreading all over social media, including the claim pushed by 50 that King Harris might not even be T.I.'s biological son. That statement instantly lit up the internet and sent fans into debate mode across every comment section. However, there are no verified records or confirmed facts supporting that claim. Public information shows that King was born in 2004, about 3 years into T.I. and Tiny's relationship, and both of them have always raised him and publicly recognized him as their son. Because of that, many people saw the paternity talk as 50 Cent doing what he's famous for, throwing out the most personal jab possible just to spark a reaction and keep the spotlight on the feud. And the truth is, beyond the marriage struggles and rap drama, the story surrounding this family runs much deeper than one viral moment online. This family had already been carrying challenges far heavier than a normal music industry feud, and then the situation around them took an even more serious turn. Starting in January 2021, more than a dozen women came forward with serious allegations involving both T.I. and Tiny.
I do not like this. No, I do not enjoy it. Now, Domani kept us cool.
The claim said that between 2005 and 2018, the couple had been involved in situations where women reported being drugged, assaulted, held against their will, or transported across state lines. The accusations quickly spread across media outlets and social platforms, turning into one of the most talked about controversies surrounding the couple. From the very beginning, T.I. and Tiny strongly denied every single claim. They said the accusations were completely false and described the situation as an organized attempt to pressure them for money. Their attorney, Steve Sato, publicly defended them and described the accusations as an attempted shakedown campaign. He argued that the allegations had no real merit and stated that the couple was fully prepared to challenge the claims through the legal system. The controversy quickly created real consequence for their public projects. Their VH1 reality show was first paused and eventually shut down while the network reviewed the situation and the surrounding reports. In May 2021, the Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that it had opened an investigation into the allegations. The announcement kept the story in headlines as authorities examined the information that had been brought forward. However, by September 2021, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office announced that no criminal charges would be filed. Officials explained that the statute of limitations had already expired for the incidents that had been reported, which meant prosecutors could not move forward with criminal cases related to those claims. Investigators in Georgia also did not move forward with criminal charges, but the legal situation wasn't completely finished just yet. In January 2024, one of the accusers, an Air Force veteran using the name Jane Doe, filed a civil lawsuit in California under a law that allows certain claims to be brought forward even after the usual deadline if a cover-up can be shown. T.I. and Tiny challenged the lawsuit in court and pushed back against the claims. Then in August 2024, a federal judge dismissed the case. However, the plaintiff was given the option to file again with additional details if she chose to move forward later. So while there were no criminal charges and no convictions, the entire controversy still cast a long shadow over the couple's public image. Situations like that don't just disappear overnight, especially when they've already been debated across news outlets and social media for years. That's exactly why when 50 Cent posted Tiny's photo and turned her into the punchline of a joke, it landed very differently with a lot of people online. This wasn't just playful teasing between rappers anymore. He was taking a jab at a family that had already been through public marriage struggles, cheating rumors, and a federal investigation, and he did it in front of millions of people watching online. The post spread across social media in minutes. Screenshots were flying everywhere, blogs started picking up the story, and people began arguing about it across every platform. Some fans said it looked like classic 50 Cent trolling, the same style he has used for years to stir reactions and dominate online conversations. But others felt this time he crossed a line by pulling someone's wife into a conflict that originally started around music. Suddenly, the situation wasn't just about T.I.'s reputation as a rapper. Now it looked like his family name was being challenged in public, and in hip-hop culture, respect around family is something people take very seriously. But the person who reacted the fastest wasn't T.I. at all. It was King Harris. The 21-year-old had grown up in the spotlight, watching millions of people comment on his parents for years.
Damani's always cool.
Guess what? What the fuck? What universe is this? You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, man, listen, man. I'm a logical, reasonable man of respect, bro. And I raise my children.
And now he was seeing his mother become the target of a viral joke. That moment clearly hit a nerve. King Harris jumped online and started responding in real time, making it obvious he was not amused by the situation at all. His message was direct. He spoke up for his mother and made it clear he believed the whole thing had crossed the line. For him, this wasn't just internet jokes anymore. It was personal. Suddenly the story wasn't just 50 Cent versus T.I. anymore. A new generation had stepped right into the middle of the drama, and the energy online started shifting quickly. When a son sees his mother getting dragged across the internet, sometimes staying quiet isn't even an option. That moment is what really lit the fuse for everything that followed. It explains why King Harris didn't respond calmly at all. The second he saw that photo of his mother sitting on 50 Cent's Instagram page, something inside him switched straight into defense mode. There was never going to be a quiet response after that. King Harris may only be 21 years old, but he has spent his entire life in the public eye. And growing up as the child of two famous parents means cameras, headlines, and social media chatter are always somewhere nearby. For years, he has watched people online talk about his family, speculate about his parents' relationship, and drag his mother through gossip blogs. Those kinds of comments build up over time. So when the same rapper his father had already been clashing with suddenly posted Tiny's photo as a joke, it clearly struck a nerve. And what happened next wasn't some polished PR response or carefully crafted diss track from from a studio session. King went straight to Instagram stories and started firing off responses in real time. It was raw, emotional, and completely unfiltered. Millions of people watched it unfold as he spoke up for his mother and made it clear he believed the situation had crossed a serious line. But in the middle of that heated reaction, King stepped into territory that many people in hip-hop consider completely off limits. During the post, he brought up 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who tragically passed away in 1983 when 50 was still a child. King suggested that if 50 Cent felt comfortable posting pictures of someone else's mother online, then he was ready to respond the same way. At one point, he even shared what appeared to be an image connected to a gravesite, which instantly made the situation even more intense. Within minutes, screenshots of the post started spreading everywhere. Social media pages, blogs, and comment sections all lit up as people watched the drama escalate in real time. 50 Cent's reaction came quickly, and it was exactly the kind of response many people have come to expect from him. Instead of writing a long message or firing back with a serious rant, he posted a Pee-Pee the Frog meme with LOL across it. Right underneath it, he added a short message basically telling King Harris to stay out of grown men's business, thou you. That was his way of brushing the whole situation off like it wasn't even worth the energy. But King Harris clearly wasn't planning to step back. On February 23rd, he kept the pressure going and started throwing even more shots online. Now the question is, where does this situation go from here? If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments because I read them all. Do you think 50 Cent went too far, or did King Harris take things to another level? Hit like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.